We're back, everybody, with episode 2 of the podcast. Thanks for coming back. Hopefully the audio's okay. Hopefully the lag's a little bit fixed from the last episode. Apologies for that. Apologies if it's still not great. I'm learning as I go here. I've never used audio interface before. I've never had to sync my audio and video separately before on two different things and edit them together. It's a process. I'm learning, so bear with me. But welcome in, everybody. I'm Alexis Jade, and this is the podcast No Straight Answers, where we talk everything sapphic and nothing is off limits, but I can't guarantee I'm going to give you any straight answers. Once again, for audio listeners only, I'm still uncertain about this catchphrase, about this, whatever you want to call it, I'm uncertain about it because I'm in quotations when I'm doing it on video, and you can't see that. You can't hear that. So, yeah, we'll see how that goes. I don't know if we'll stick with that slogan. If anyone has any better has any better slogan ideas, let me know in the comments below, because I would be open to ideas. Anyways, welcome in, guys. So I know a lot of you came from my other socials and are here for Zelena-related podcasts. Don't you worry, we're not done with Zelena. That's still going to be a topic going forward for future podcast episodes, but not this week. I need time in between each Zelena episode because there's so much content to go over with them and there's so much to talk about. I need time in between to be able to put together my list of things that I need to go over, all the scenes that I have to talk about, and from there, then I can do the podcast episode. And keep in mind, while I'm trying to record these and plan these, stuff is still happening on the show because the show is still happening. We have 1 week left, which is sad, and we're going to talk about that too. But yeah, there's 1 week left. So while I'm trying to plan this, there's also stuff happening that I'm doing, that I'm talking about, making posts about, that we're doing Twitter spaces about. So it's a lot. So bear with me. Zelena podcast episode number 2 is coming. It's just not this week. We're going to do a little in-betweener episode, and then we'll be back with Zelena, and then we'll probably do another different type of episode topic, and then we'll go back for Zelena again. So don't you worry, haven't forgotten it. It's still to come. So stay tuned. This is the last week of Grande Fratello, and personally, I'm a little bit in my feels about it. It's a little bit sad. On one hand, I think everyone's excited to kind of get their life back and be able to get back to not staring at their computer screen for 24 hours a day and checking updates on Twitter and fearing that they missed out on stuff that's going on. For anyone who's really been following the Zelena stuff going on, and at this point it's more so Zowdy and just the show in general, but anyone who's been along on the journey knows that it's been a long few months, depending how long you've been watching for, of committing to this content. So I think a lot of people, including myself, are excited to not have this on a something we have to do every day anymore. However, that being said, I'm sad. I'm sad because I've made friends along the way, and I don't want it all to be over. And that doesn't mean the friendships will be over, but obviously it's going to be different. Everything's going to be different once the show ends. And it just sucks, and we're not going to have that thing to talk about anymore. And hopefully, maybe something else comes along for us to talk about, and we continue to have a show or, I don't know, some form of content of something to talk about, discuss. But right now, this is it, guys. Zelena's coming to an end. And yeah, I'm just feeling a little bit bummed about it. Personally, for me, it's also been a not great week. It's been a not great few weeks for me. And I'm not saying this to say woe is me. It's just, I said this podcast was going to be open and we're going to talk about everything. And so I'm going to kick it off by just being honest that I've had a kind of a shitty past few weeks. They haven't been good. I've had stuff happening in my personal life, and I don't know, just stuff going on. I've had a lot on my mind. I've got some stuff going on physically with my lupus and stuff. I've had some family, some other stuff happen. I've had some stuff on my mind. It's just been a thing. So yeah, I don't know. So the past 2-3 weeks have been kind of They haven't been great, which sucks because this has been like the end of the Zelena stuff, and I really wanted to be able to enjoy it, and I have been. I've been trying to. It's just like with other stuff going on at the same time, and my brain kind of like dealing with other stuff. It's made it a little bit difficult, and it's sad because I'm trying my best to like live in the moment and just enjoy everything for what it is right now, but it's hard when you got stuff going on. So I'm really trying to put everything else I'm thinking and feeling and everything else to the side so that I can just enjoy this week and the Twitter spaces and talking to everyone and doing all the things before it all comes to an end. And also, I'm getting very red, so ignore that. I think I'm getting hot. I shouldn't have worn this leather jacket. It might be loud, and I apologize for that, but I purposely wore it to restrain myself because I talk with my hands and my mic moves too much. And this mic is not expensive enough of a microphone to be able to combat my movements and block out the wind noise. So I'm starting to get really hot under this light in this jacket, but hopefully the background noise isn't too bad this time. So let me know if it is. But yeah, if I could continue to get more and more red as this goes on, it's because I'm getting very, very physically hot. But also, I don't know, maybe I'm getting embarrassed. I don't know what's happening to me. Anyways, let's keep talking. It's just me talking. So yeah, all that being said, I am sad that Grande Fratello is coming to an end. This show has been a madhouse, but it's like bittersweet. It's kind of crazy, like seeing the house empty also. It's so weird. It's so weird watching the live stream and just seeing like 5 people in the house and thinking of where we were before. And for anyone who doesn't watch the show, don't worry, this whole podcast episode's not going to be about Grande Fratello, so you're not going to be totally lost. It's just where we're starting from. But yeah, seeing the show come to the end, seeing the house get smaller, it's sad because you know it's ending, and we have our last puntada is on Monday. It's the final, and it's going to be exciting. It's going to be fun. I'm going to be watching it with I talked about last episode, the Familia, so we'll be watching it together, but that'll be our last one to watch together. And it's kind of sad. Makes me a little bit sad. I don't know. It got me thinking about, like, all of this plus everything else in my life and, I don't know, everything else going on. Got me thinking about, like, friends. And I'm just kind of like, why it's making me so sad. I think a lot of people who have been following along for the show are feeling a little bittersweet about the show ending. Like, happy to get their life back, kind of sad it's ending, kind of sad that, like all the spaces and stuff are going to end. I think I haven't confirmed this yet with, the people that I do the spaces with, that we're still going to try to do spaces together. Maybe like talk about different random topics, but of course life happens, things happen, and people might not always be available. I don't know. But it sounds like that's what our plan is. I haven't really confirmed, so don't hold me to that. I hope we can. I hope we do. But I haven't really confirmed that. But I'll be here. You got me. And hopefully that's enough because I'll still be here. I'll probably still do spaces and stuff. But I'll be here for you guys. I hope that the friendships I've made along the way hang around. I hope they do, but you just never know. I hope so. And I'm not saying this to make it all negative. It's just like one of those things where because we have a common factor that we're all meeting for every week and now it's coming to an end, it's like, dang, I don't know what it's going to look like in the future, but it's going to be different regardless. Like no matter what, it's not going to be how it is now. And that part makes me sad. It got me thinking because I really didn't notice until I started doing this stuff with Grande Fratello and the spaces and everything else that I don't really have any gay friends. And I don't have a lot of friends in general. Like I keep my circle very small, but I never realized that I was kind of lacking in that department. Like I didn't really realize that I don't have gay friends, and I have in the past. I've had like gay guy friends and girls that are my friends, but we kind of have just drifted apart over the years. And I realized that I don't really have anyone in my inner circle that is also not straight. And it kind of sucks because that's like a big part of me. And obviously I'm here doing this podcast. And I think that's why so many of us bonded so well, because we don't have that. Or I guess I can't speak for everyone, but I think it is pretty common for people within the community, I guess, to like not have other gay friends. Like they kind of are the gay friend of their group. And being able to make friends, especially have like a group of friends where like almost none of you are straight, or maybe there's the one, you like have this common bond, I guess, and common interests that you don't really have with your straight friends. And it wasn't something I really ever thought about until I started having more gay friends. And I was like, dang, I would be very curious to know if anyone else has the same quote unquote issue. Like if they notice the same thing, that you just don't have very many non-straight friends in your life, or are you the gay friend? Because like I feel like that's a common thing a lot of us experience, unfortunately, and I don't know why that is. And that's part of what has made this so nice about everything with Grande Fratello. It's connected a lot of people in the community to make friends and stuff online and meet up in person. There's been people meeting up in person all the time, and I think that's super cool. And that's actually something I really want to do, and I think I'm going to introduce to the channel at some point, because I really, really, really want to travel. I love traveling. I want to see as many places in the world as possible. And I was kind of like, how can I put it all together? And I'm like, I know. I can literally make like a vlogging series of traveling, and travel using any funds I get from like this podcast or from my content I make on the channel or my other YouTube channel where I talk football. And I can use the funds from that and put it towards traveling and meet up with people within the Zelena fandom and like the friends that I've made from the Zelena fandom from all of this, and start a whole thing where I just start flying out and meeting people. And I think it'd be super cool and super fun. And it's a good way to combine content creation with my love and desire to travel, mixed with being able to finally meet my friends in real life, which would be nice. So hopefully that's something you guys might be interested. Let me know, because if you're interested in that, like this video or something so that I know, and I will get to work on that, because trust me, you do not have to convince me twice to do that. So that's an idea I have and what I think I'm gonna do. So let me know if you might be interested in that, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, I think I'm going to start doing that and start planning some of that stuff. I already have some ideas of my first stops, so I'll let you know when more things are official, but I have some ideas. But yeah, I'm going to really miss talking to everyone, and of course, I still do talk to everyone. It's not like we're all saying goodbye forever, but I get in my head a lot about relationships in general, and not just like romantic, but friendships in general. I get really, really in my head. Kind of a problem of mine. I don't know why I do that. I feel I'm in a weird stage in life, to be honest. So I'm turning 28 this year. I'll be 28, so I'm pushing 30. And I live alone. I have friends in my life, but it's kind of weird because I have friends that are younger than me that are kind of like just getting into their careers and stuff that they're getting into. And for me, I'm very career oriented, but not the 9 to 5. I'm career oriented in terms of like content and this type of stuff, and I'm trying to make it my career. So I'm also at a weird stage where it's like I'm career oriented, but I'm trying to basically start a career while working in a career field that I've been working in for quite a few years now. So I don't know, my career side of it is very strange and hard to explain to a lot of people, but 99% of friends that I make, that's hard to explain to. I'm also at a weird stage where a lot of people that I'm friends with, like for example, my best friend, love her to death, we are at 2 entirely different phases of life. She is married, has a house, just had her first baby, which is super exciting, but not at all the life I'm living. Like, not even close. And unfortunately, that does make it hard for us to align on a lot of things right now. And I don't live near a lot of friends that I like grew up with, or that I might know from childhood and things like that, or even in college. I went to college in New York City and then moved back to the Midwest which is a whole other story on why that is. But a lot of my friends from college are all across the country. We don't see each other that often because they're all doing different things, and a lot of them are actors and they're traveling and they're just like doing their own thing. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'm kind of in a weird, I don't know. I'm in a weird phase, maybe right now, where I just feel like, I also just feel like the lifestyle I want to live is not what a lot of my friends want to live. A lot of my friends are, even the ones that aren't married yet or anything, they're still looking for that like stability of finding the partner, getting the house, starting a family. And I'm just not at all in that mindset. My mindset is I am single. I'm by myself. I live alone. I want to travel. And I don't even know if I want to stay living in the United States. Like, if there was a reason, or I had a reason to not be here, like, I would have no problem moving to another country. And honestly, I hope I do. I hope I do get the opportunity to move to another country. That's very different than what a lot of people are doing. And it's just strange. Like, I don't even know how to vocalize some of the thoughts I have about it all, but I just feel like it's not even necessarily an age thing. It's just a me thing with my life and what I'm doing. But yeah, so it's just weird, and I have too much time on my hands to think, as you can probably tell with this podcast episode, of like, where are we going with this, Alexis? I don't know. I'm just kind of talking to you guys about what I'm thinking, that like this whole Zelena stuff that I'm basically taking you on my spiral with me, with leaving some details out of my spiral with Grande Fratello ending and things I think about, because I'm an overthinker, because I have OCD and I obsessively think about things, so I overthink everything, and I live by myself, so when there's no one to talk to and there's nothing to do, I sit there and in my thoughts thinking for a long time, and I can't stop thinking, and I can't turn them off, and I wake up thinking, and it just doesn't end. And that has to do with like everything. But for the sake of staying on topic-ish for the podcast, we're just going to stick to talking about friends and those types of things. And yeah, I don't know. It just got me thinking. It got me then thinking about the fact, like, when I am alone, I'm just thinking about, wow, I'm alone. Like, it's just me. And I don't know. I had some friends over the other day, and my friend has not like tarot cards, but it's kind of the same thing. She has like angel cards where you read it out, and it's not so much like this is your future, but it's more so like this is advice from the universe that they're trying to like convey to you. So we did it for fun, because why not? Mine really came at me. Like, it really, like, it was very weird. There was some like symbolism on the cards that was interesting. I don't know if I want to get into the details of it, because I'm not trying to like shout out certain situations that I have, but it was weird how some symbolism on the cards kind of match some things I was thinking about. And then on top of that, it really called me out for like needing to deal with my shit and needing to deal with like how my stuff from childhood is affecting friendships and relationships now. And I was like, whoa, I didn't even think that I was really having issues with that. But I think that was naive of me to think, because of course I am, because I think that's natural. I think it's human to have stuff carry over subconsciously from childhood or traumas or whatever's happened that then affects relationships. And I think that makes sense. I think that makes a lot of sense. So thank you, universe, for letting me know. But yeah, so then I started thinking after that. I started thinking about, like, how does stuff like that affect my relationships now? And I was like, I do have a very small circle of friends. And I've always said that that's because I used to have bigger circles of friends. And then I got sick. And I was in the hospital. And I had, like, only 3 people check in on me. And I was like, wow, Okay. So nice to know who actually cares. And then I got cancer. And then I only had like 2 people checking on me. I was like, okay, nice to know who actually cares. And I think that really was like and maybe that's not fair to some friends who like also have their own shit going on. And I think just for me though, that was a very big like, I'm an adult. Why am I keeping people in my life as friends that don't care? Because like I literally was sick in the hospital twice. And I feel like that's a pretty big sign on if people care about you or not. And for me, it was kind of just like a whoa moment, you know? And maybe it's a whoa moment a lot of people don't have. And for me, it kind of happened twice. And it was kind of like, okay. That being said, I don't think that's the only factor. And I also, like I said, I don't think that's 100% fair to people. I also think part of it is my own problem, because I think part of it is abandonment issues of people leaving and me being like, well, they're just going to leave anyways. And I think part of it is me being insecure, which is weird because like when I get into, if it's like, for example, a romantic relationship, I get pretty secure. Like I don't get paranoid they're going to leave me. I don't get paranoid that they're like going to cheat. I'm pretty like confident and like, okay, well, if they're going to do that, they're going to do that. But for some reason in friendships, I get very insecure. Like, or situationships, I get very insecure and start thinking like I'm annoying them. I'm weird, because I am weird. If you guys haven't noticed, I'm fucking weird. But I start like overthinking everything I do, everything I say. And I like overanalyze the smallest little things, and then I catch myself doing it, and I'm Alexis, you need to stop that. That's fucking weird. Stop overanalyzing everything. And then I'm like, maybe I'm pushing people away because I'm being weird, because they can see that I overanalyze everything, or I take everything too personal, or I am too sensitive and I like absorb it too much, and they notice that and they're like, okay, chill, take a joke. And I unintentionally or subconsciously push people away. And I'm like, maybe it's my fault because I'm like that. But I don't have an answer for you guys or for myself. I think all things can be true. And I think in the grand scheme of things, I've handled a lot of things very well in my life. And I've handled a lot of stuff about myself very well, or things that have happened and how I've responded well over time. But this is the type of thoughts that I have when I'm just by myself in an empty apartment. I mean, I have my 2 cats. They're in the other bedroom or other room, and I put the Peanuts movie on for them so they have something to watch. So they're watching the Peanuts movie right now. But I'm just alone with my 2 cats and with OCD, and just my form of OCD isn't like cleaning or anything. It's just intrusive thoughts and just constantly needing to think thoughts over and over and over and over again. So like that's what I do when I'm home alone, and I'm home alone every single day. So hopefully, I guess, the whole point of these podcasts, right, is like, you hope that this stuff reaches someone, or someone can relate. Or if you can't relate, you get a better understanding of other people. So hopefully if you're listening to this, like, there's someone out there who can kind of relate to what I'm saying. And maybe to some of you, this just sounds like a jumbled mess and nothing makes sense. But like, you can see how I've spiraled from thinking about, oh man, it's sad Zelena and Grande Fratello is coming to an end, to, man, I'm just alone and lonely and maybe I push everybody away. And this is just the way my brain spirals, and I don't know what's the matter with me, but it's what I do. So hopefully there's oh my god, I'm an idiot. Hopefully there's someone out there that understands what I mean, because I kind of sound like a little bit of a doofus right now. So hopefully you guys, someone out there can relate. Or if you can't relate to all of it, hopefully you can relate to like parts of what I'm saying right now, because I would like to think I'm not the only one who just sits here with all these 1,000,001 thoughts. But we'll see. I think also part of my problem too, if I'm trying to find ways to blame myself, is I'm also very intuitive. Like I'm very hyper aware of people and their actions or their feelings, like their vibes, so to speak. I don't know if vibes is the right word, but we're going to go with it. And I think it's like a weird sixth sense I have. And I think the hard thing is sometimes it's really hard for me to differentiate what is intuition that I'm picking up from someone, like a feeling I'm getting, versus what's me overthinking. And sometimes they overlap. I'm because I'm sensitive. I'm too hyper aware that then I overthink everything, and then I don't know, that leads to the whole subconsciously accidentally pushing people away because I'm fucking weird. But just another thing I thought of is that I tend to have, and I like that I have strong intuition. It just sometimes it works against me and not in my favor. So there's that. It's just the way I am. It's just the way I'm wired. You know, shout out my best friend for sticking with me through all these years, because holy cow, has she had to deal with me through all these stages. But love you, Em. Thank you. But I'm also grateful for, you know, all the friends I've met through Grande Fratello, to wrap it up full circle. I'm grateful for all the friends that I've met through Grande Fratello, and because they've also had to put up with me. And, you know, when you talk to the same people every single day for like 2 or 3 months straight, you really get to know people, and you get to know their personalities, and you build a bond. And I think that's special. My belief is that people come into your life when they're supposed to. I think everyone you meet is for a reason. I think when you have connections with people, those are valuable. These are just like the thoughts that I have every day, just alone, that for some reason I'm choosing to vocalize on a podcast that the whole world is going to watch. I don't know. Maybe this is going to be too embarrassing to post. I think I'm going to post it anyways, but maybe this is going to be embarrassing and everyone's going to be like, Alexis, chill. You're like way overthinking everything. You need to calm down. And that's probably true. But I just wanted to express my thoughts, even if they're dramatic. There was a hair. I just wanted to express my thoughts, because even if it's dramatic, and it's like anyone who I'm friends with right now is listening to this and they're like, Alexis, are you good? Like, calm down. Just know that this is just my thought process, and I'm just like vocalizing it so that if anyone else out there feels the same things or whatever, just, you know, you have someone else who's insane enough to vocalize it on a podcast on the internet to relate to, hopefully. Totally random side note, every time I try to like lightly make waves in my hair, I always overdo it on one side, and like I end up with some tighter curls. And it pisses me off because, like, this side, perfect. Like, loose waves. Here, freaking curls. I don't know what I did. I don't know how I did it. It was an accident. And now I can't get rid of it, but whatever. I'm not good at doing hair. All that being said, universe is crazy. And the universe was crazy enough to have me meet a bunch of random people on the internet from all over the world. And, you know, I'm part of multiple group chats. I have obviously the familia that I've said like 3 times. I've met so many people from all over the place. And it's so crazy how just a little show can like just bring people together like that. And if there's one thing I'm grateful for the internet and social media, it's that, because I never would have been able to do that obviously without it. And I think it's super cool. And if you're someone who I have talked to in a space, or I interact with you on social media or what have you, like, it's been super fun. And I hope we continue to do so. And I'll still be here. So like, I hope to continue to interact with you. And to the people who I've made friends with, I hope to meet you at some point, because I do plan on traveling and I do plan on making my way around the world. And hopefully we meet up and it'll be fun, and hopefully it's something I can document for, even if some of it doesn't go on the internet, just for myself to have for years to come and be like, whoa, that was a crazy time. I'm grateful for meeting everyone. I hopefully will get to meet some people in real life and not just online. And I'm very glad for this little stage of my life of Zelena. And who knows, with the way things are going, if you follow Grande Fratello, there's rumors of a golden series, like a golden season, I mean, of Grande Fratello, in which basically some of the highest rated and like best contestants come back for a season, in which case most likely Miss Zaudi de Palma might be coming back to our screens in September. So if that happens, I have a strong feeling a lot of us will be coming back in September to do recaps of a show all over again. So if that happens, stay freaking tuned, because you can bet your ass I'll be here. And I think a lot of us will be. So that could get really fun. But we'll see if that happens. But it would be really fun. Hopefully you enjoyed this episode. This wasn't meant to be woe is me thing. It's more so just, this is my brain. This is what I think. This is how I spiral. This is what I think about because I just live alone and I sit in my loneliness sometimes with just my thoughts. And because I care a lot about people. I just took you guys on my brain spiral with me, when in reality, if someone else was having this brain spiral, I'd be like, dude, you're good. Calm down. But this is the way my brain works. So welcome to the brain of Alexis. And if you enjoyed it, I hope you stick around. And I would actually like to do another podcast about friendships more in depth at some point. I just think friendships are really interesting and not talked about a lot. Especially with women who like women when it comes to like their straight friends or finding other gay friends. I think this could be like a whole other thing. So I'd love to talk about it at some point if people are interested. But guys, if you aren't following the social medias, please do on Twitter, aka X, and Instagram, and I almost said Facebook. I do not go on Facebook. And TikTok. Follow me on there. And I appreciate everyone from listening, and hopefully some of you could relate, and if you don't, hopefully you don't think I'm crazy and you just enjoyed the content for today. And next episode will be Zelena, and if you do listen to the Twitter Spaces, then I might have a surprise for you either this next episode or the one after that, because we might be having some members of the Familia Twitter Space fam on the podcast with me. We'll see. So stay tuned for that. I appreciate everyone for listening. Thank you so much. Thank you for putting up with me. Thank you for being here for episode 2. Hopefully there's many more to come that you'll be here for. I'll keep making them, but hopefully you're here to listen. And I'm Alexis Jade, and this has been No Straight Answers.